Hi, y'all. Okay. Hi, Patreon. So, I originally had like an idea for this video, but I think I just want to do some kind of life updates because your girl is stressed. But also, I feel like I have really, yeah, no, I know I'm jumping. I'm actually really excited to talk about my life updates because I have so much going on and I really want to I just want to talk about it. Like, I actually want to talk about it. So, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I'm trying not to jump. I did stand up comedy for 6 years, 5 years, 6 years. I really loved it. It's like I have a weird relationship to stand up because I got into stand up when I was deeply traumatized living in Germany. So a lot of my content was reflecting my environment, and stand up was really important for me to express myself in a country where I was feeling suffocated because I was experiencing so much violence and abuse. Sorry. And stand up was the only stable thing I had going in my life at the time for the past 6 years. I was in an abusive sorry. I was in an abusive relationship with someone towards the end of my last year living in Germany. And I was also in a fight. I was fighting, I was doing kickboxing. My fighting club was very toxic, very abusive. The only outlet I had where I could like express myself was stand up. So stand up like has been the thing that was standing through like abusive dynamics, abusive, toxic environments. Like stand up was like the only thing standing. And at the time, I didn't have access to therapy. So stand up was very much so giving therapy for me. It was like something that I did without thinking about it. It was something that I did like often, and I did it 4 times a week. And it just like, I really needed to do it. Then the pandemic happens. No, then I moved back to America. Soon after the pandemic happens, during that whole process of me moving back to America, I was finally able to get access to my therapist who I had in 2017, who I really love. I really love her. And through going to therapy and also being in a pandemic, stand up it wasn't possible to do. I started to also kind of reanalyze my relationship to stand up because I felt like, well, I have a lot of thoughts about stand up, but one of the reasons why I was reanalyzing my relationship to stand up was because I felt like therapy was taking the place, and I had to actually get to a space of healing and not using stand up as a form of therapy. Like it can be therapeutic, but it should not be therapy. Therapy should be therapy, stand up should be stand up. Also, the pandemic happened, we're all indoors, stand up just completely died. And I feel like right now there's like a shift. Like things still feel really stagnant because we're still in a pandemic, we're still in COVID, but there's a shift happening when it comes to like, yeah, like expression. And so I last week I tried to do stand up at this event and it was so bad. It was so bad. Like I drove an hour to a location in hopes of doing stand up, and I wasn't able to even do stand up because it was like a bucket where they like pull your name, and I feel like they pulled everyone's name but my name. And it was just like I felt like I had to listen to all these comedians, and I have a lot of like pushback within stand up because I feel like the people who get into it a lot of times are just like it's just so violent. Like especially if you have marginalized identities, like if you're like the butt of the joke, stand up is just not going to be fun because it's always punching down on the exact same people. It's always making fun of the butt of the joke will always be a black person, it will always be a woman, it will always be a fat person. And when you have all three of those things combined, it will always be somebody disabled. And I really, really hate it. And I feel like for me, I really enjoyed stand up with like subverting that. And I feel like I've been trying to force myself to fit into the stand up scene. And that this past time I did stand up, I just realized I don't fit in. Like, I don't fit in with a lot of stand up comedians. I'm really sensitive. I actually do stand up from a completely different place. Like, I feel like first off, I really enjoy having people together and like feeling safe. That's like the first thing I like. But also, I feel like I like stand up because I like seeing people who look like me laughing. I like seeing people who are marginalized having joy. Like I like seeing people who are the butt of the jokes laughing at something that isn't them. Like that's why I get into stand up. So I just kind of had a moment and then I just like posted online. I was like, okay, who has access to a venue, like who can help me? And so many people have actually like been able to like point me in the right directions, which is moving me towards the announcement, which I'm getting back into doing events, which makes me so happy. And I feel like this process has come with ease. So another thing that's going on that I'm only announcing on my Patreon is I am going to England soon. I can't really explain why I'm going there. There's a reason, but I'm not trying to get into any trouble or whatever. So I'm going to England, and I have to cut that out. Fuck, I have to cut that out. I'm going to England soon, and one of my friends, like my best friend, who was my production manager in Berlin, he's now living in London. And we were having a moment where we're like, you know what? Maybe we should just do this show. Like, do what we used to do in Berlin and like do it in London. And like things are moving. But I'm like so anxious. Like, my anxiety is so bad about it because, first off, I'm really out of seasoned with stand up. I haven't done stand up comedy like, I just don't feel like I have the groove. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in the groove because I'm not doing stand up active. But I feel like what other time is there for me to practice if not now kind of thing? Like, I can only practice with people who I feel safe around. So if someone comes to my show, like, I feel like I would feel more safe around them and be comfortable to try. But I don't know. I feel like so nervous because if I do a show in London, like I don't know how many people are gonna come. And then my friend is like trying to convince me to do a show also, like that we go to Berlin and do a show. And I'm just like, all of my nerves is so bad. And I feel like my question I have for myself is like, I talked on the phone to my best friend and she said to me, she was like, I told her I was like really scared. And she was like, what's this life worth living if it's not like to take extreme chances? Like when you really break it down, like I don't know, the way she explained it, I just thought was so funny, but it's so true. Like if you don't try these really ambitious things, like these goals are really ambitious. Like me doing a show in London, and even though I don't live in London, very ambitious. Me doing a show in Berlin, even though I haven't been there in 3 years, very ambitious. My friend was like, "What's the point of living if you don't take the ambitious leaps of faith? Like you only know when you do it." So I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna do that or not. I just feel really worried and concerned. Obviously, like my concern comes down to like money and like funds because events is a risky thing financially. Like you can, the worst case scenario is like you can have to pay out of pocket, so you can like go into debt. And I don't want to have that. I don't want to experience that. So I'm trying to figure out how to do these events and like yeah, just like balance myself out and use this opportunity of me getting myself out there in Europe, me getting back into stand up in Europe, using these opportunities to propel me back when I'm in the States. When I get back in America, I want to continue doing these events that really bring together my community and people who can relate to what I'm saying and feel safe coming to my events and feel safe being in spaces with me. Like, I just really want to do that. That makes me feel really fulfilled. And it wasn't until I started to plan these events that I started to feel really fulfilled. And I've even been struggling to sleep because I feel like I'm so excited and so nervous. And maybe that's a good mixture to have. Like, I enjoy doing YouTube videos, but I feel like the amount that I have to do videos is a bit excessive for me. It doesn't seem excessive. Like, making a video every week or twice a week, to some people is like not that much, but for me, it's a lot. But for me to like keep kind of pushing my channel and like pushing growth and stuff like that, that's where I'm at right now. I can't really like relax on that. But doing events and like doing a tour, like I just would love to just be able to do a tour. I'm nowhere near that. I'm nowhere near like being able to like go pick different cities and like have people show up. I'm not there. But just being able to get to that place. Something that it's just something that brings me so much joy. Like I really love organizing events, and like it's just a passion I have because I feel like it's really active, and it's really like people building. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like you're actually doing something. It's so fulfilling for me. So I'm really excited about it. If any of my Patreon followers are living in London and would love to come to my show and like talk to me or something like that, let me know. Like I can, I want to do that. Like that would be really cool. So yeah, I'm announcing it here first. I'm so scared, and at the time I'm trying to reinvent, like draw my flyers. I'm someone who's really hands-on with my events. Like I draw all my flyers, even though I should probably like, outsource it. I don't have the funds to outsource anything. So until I have that, and plus I kind of like drawing my own things and doing my own things. Like I'm really, really hands-on. And that's why I love my best friend who's also going to be like my production manager, because he gets me and he knows me and we've done it before. We were just doing this in Berlin like fluidly. He was the person that helped me produce, was my production manager for my show, my one woman show, Queen Kong. And I just really want to get back. Like, I don't know if it's good to say I want to get back to that person, because it's not really good to like look back, but I want to get back to some version of myself that I feel like really happy with and really comfortable with how I communicate. Because right now I feel like, stand up like forces me to kind of get out of my shy bag a little, because I feel like I can be really shy, and that's something that people don't really expect from me. But with doing stand up, it like allows me to be more in my like extrovert, my extrovert bag. So that's really what I'm like looking forward to, is being more out, yeah, and just like bringing people together. So yeah, I would love to know what you guys think. I just shared really some vulnerable things. Me even sharing this is a big deal, because I don't like to even tell people when I'm traveling until after I've gotten to my location. So, but I've done this before on my Patreon. I used to talk a lot about like my own personal issues and stuff like that when I was kicked out of the house and disowned, which is like so fucking messy, like those vlogs, but they're still up on my Patreon. Not vlogs, but like me talking about my feelings. Oh my God, it was so messy. But anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at. So please wish me luck. Please give me good energy. If you live in London or if you live in Berlin and you like are really wanting me to do a show and you want to leave me words of encouragement, I really appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.